indeed. Evening, Holliston. Welcome to the April 10th, 2025 meeting of the Holliston School Committee. We will dive right in. At 7 o'clock, we have our budget hearing, but that is an official hearing, so we need to wait till 7 to proceed with it. So we will work through the rest of the agenda first. So we'll start off with a report from our student representative.
Tickets are being sold this week. The class of 2027 is having a corner market fundraiser on April 15th. Girls and boys track won yesterday against Norwood. DECA had a bake sale yesterday, and they are going to Orlando for nationals on the 25th. The Global Citizens Program is going to Italy over April break. High school spring play tickets are on sale for May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd for the play Clue. AP exams start May 1st. The French exchange students come back at the end of April break, or the students who went to France. Performing Arts went on a field trip to Boston today. They went to Open Boston Symphony Rehearsal. They toured the Institute of Contemporary Art, and they went to see the musical Shucked. NHS seniors and juniors are writing letters to younger grades. Term 4 has just started, and seniors just applied to local scholarships.
Great, thank you. School committee individual comment. Frank. Hillary. Joe. Sarah.
Nope.
Cynthia.
No.
Dawn.
No.
Okay, and I am good. Do we have anyone from the public who wishes to speak?
Thank you.
Ms. Ryan.
Good evening, Barbara Ryan, 14 Avery Place. Just wanted to highlight the PTO this year is taking over the walk, bike, and roll event. We've supported it with snacks in the past, so we'll be bringing that forward to you. But we have Dr. Michelle Porter and her daughter Sinead, who is a sophomore in high school, and with the Leos, and she is actually going to really spearhead this, so I'm very happy with that. And this is the mom and daughter team of the last couple of years have hosted the Culture Night, highlighting different heritage in our Holliston community. So they've stepped forward, and we're working with them. So we're very excited about that. May 7th, and we'll be putting that out, and we had a call with the Massachusetts folks Wednesday morning, so we'll tie into the larger state effort. So wanted to make you aware of that. If you'd like to bike, walk, or roll with us, all grades are welcome, and we have the support of the administration and each principal, and they'll push that out in the newsletter. And then as far as scholarships, the PTO scholarship is available for application. And that's it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, rolling right along. So our first order of old business is the Holliston High School schedule for 2025-2026. Is there anything we want to do about that?
Or your vote on it?
Well, we don't have to. We have a vote on there, but we could.
To go back to the current schedule as of this year.
Yes.
Now that we have a ratified schedule for 26, 27. I think it makes sense.
So to remove the AB
So we
schedule
would
for next year?
roll back the
now that we
implementation
have the,
of the AB schedule.
Yeah, in order to
Yes.
give them an opportunity to work on the schedule for the 26-27 school year.
I think it's
Just
important
makes
to
sense.
note the schedules, so the implications to the current schedules that have been put in place. I think Mr. List laid out last week, a majority of students had already put in classes. So I think it would be good to hear from administration. I know Mr. List isn't here, like what the implications are by moving back to the block schedule for students that have already scheduled.
So I think that's why he had extended the timeline to give kids another opportunity. He felt that most of it should lay out pretty similar just because it was a variation of the current schedule, the full year version. But that's why he extended the timeline, and kids, I think counselors are going to be communicating as well with students, and you probably received something, didn't something go out to
Yes.
students? Yes. So I think we'll be fine, and I mean, in exceptions, we always change things after the fact. You just want the bulk of it in because it's a lot of work if you have to do it manually, but there's always an opportunity if a student misses something later on through an error, through Power School or otherwise, that they can do that manually later as well.
But I mean, I think your words are important, that not every student needs to run back and redo their schedule.
Right, most of them should be fine, but the counselors will be looking at them with the students, and students should feel free to ask questions in the meantime.
Okay.
How has that been received for you?
The
Just like this kind of transition schedule process.
I think that most students are like happy that it's not the AB anymore. I haven't really heard anything like crazy.
And no real concerns about their
Yeah.
schedules laying out incorrectly or anything at this point.
Okay, good.
Okay, so given that, any more discussion that we want? We obviously did make a commitment to the community to roll back on the AB. So I'll entertain a motion to rescind our vote to implement an AB schedule for 25-26 and to continue with the existing schedule.
Moved by Dawn.
Second by Cynthia.
All right, all those in favor? It's official. You're never going to see AB, at least not next year.
And I just want to say I'm sorry about the confusion about all of the back and forth. It's been really challenging for all of you, and I just want you to know that we hear that. Thanks.
All right. The next up is just a discussion of the leveling subcommittee. I don't know, Hillary, do you have an update or thoughts on membership? I know you and Sarah have been working on that with administration.
Yep, Sarah and I are going to meet with Ron and Karen and Jeriel on Monday and to talk about the membership and then I think Ron is going to bring some ideas on how to elicit community engagement.
Okay.
So we'll have an update at the next school committee meeting.
So we need 2 community members, I guess is what we voted. I know we had 1 member, former school committee member who's already volunteered. Do you think next week I can put on the agenda, like to vote on the membership, to sort of officially form the committee, I guess, to then start being able to meet?
I think we might need a little more time for members beyond next week.
And we need to get sworn in, too.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why, because there's still a couple months left in the school year, and I think the hope was to have them start working this year, certainly before the summer. So.
May 3rd? May 1st? Yeah, let's put it on.
Okay. And if something changes, we'll be in touch. Anyone else have any sort of thoughts about that? Okay. Lastly, I put on here just to sort of a vote to kind of authorize the bargaining liaisons working with the HFT on the high school schedule to kind of create. We had, as part of the high school schedule agreement, we agreed with the HFT to have a joint statement between the school committee and the schedule subcommittee members, both administration and teachers. In your folder, I put the draft that I sort of have sent to Jamie, but that obviously is not, obviously they have not read it, reviewed it, and had anything to say about it. So I wanted to share with you before we sort of authorize us to go forward what kind of we were thinking, but this is by no means, the agreed upon.
What's the file name in the draft?
The what?
What's the file name in the draft? I know.
There are 4, 5 joint statement. Starts with joint statement in the April 10th file.
Got it.
So since this would come out as a joint statement from the whole committee, in addition to the schedule subcommittee, if everyone is comfortable authorizing us to sort of finalize it, once you're ready, I'll entertain a motion to do that.
Read it, this document. document at all? Just-
I would prefer we don't edit it now because this is what I've sent. If you have some sort of
Okay.
suggestions, we can, I'm open to, I'm just saying, this is what I sent to Jamie, so I don't want to change that before getting anything back from her. But is it more typo or?
Yeah, there's just word.
Okay, yeah, we'll clean.
What was the word? It doesn't matter. We can have word. So what do you want? You've already sent it to them, so what do you want us to do now? There's nothing to approve, you've already sent it to them, so it's just, we're waiting to hear back from them before we submit something, or put something out.
Correct, just authorizing us to send it out.
You've already sent it to them, so. it's not-
Send it out to the
There's nothing to
community.
authorize, you already sent it to
Send it out to
them.
the community.
But they haven't reviewed it over yet, you just said. Didn't you just say the HFT hasn't looked at
They
it?
have not, so it's not,
Okay.
it's authorizing us to finalize it with them and then send it to the community on behalf of the committee and the other members of the members of the high school scheduling committee.
Like, will we see that copy before you send it out?
I can share it with you, but it would not be editable.
No, I know, this isn't editable
Right.
either. So, I guess whatever goes out, I feel like we should all be able to see and vote on before it goes out, whatever it is. Right?
I'm not sure we did that last time, right? When we came to an agreement on,
Start times.
right, and also the contract, I think we had, like, it was Dr. Savard and I met with
Right,
two
but
members and
we're not,
we were able
we're
to-
not editing what we've already sent, because you already sent it, so we didn't give feedback. and
do you
discuss.
wanna make edits?
It doesn't matter anymore, so go ahead.
I guess
Just do what
unless
you're
there's
gonna do.
material changes to it, we could vote on like
It's fine.
the construct of this.
Did the HFT say when they'd get back to you?
They just asked for me to provide a draft. It is typically, look, we can also do it so it just comes out from Dawn, Hillary, and myself if the full committee doesn't want it to come from them. I mean, that's
I think it's
another
important it
option.
comes from the full committee, but
I agree. I just,
could we punt it to next meeting when there may be an update?
I would prefer not to wait 2 weeks.
It's next week.
It's next week.
Oh,
We have a meeting next week.
Right, but I don't think this is a process where we can send it, they can make changes,
Right.
and then we
Yeah.
decide we don't like their changes to the 17th, and then go back and then wait until May 1st, so.
I think we do have to have some trust in the subcommittee, but I think it's important it comes from the committee, otherwise.
yeah, I agree.
Is there anything that's not in here that you want to see, or things that are in here that you don't?
Well, it's just the first time looking at it, so I haven't had the chance to look at it before now, so. But my point is, if you've already sent it, then there's no point in me sharing anything else, because there's no changes that can be made, because you've already sent it to them. That's all.
My only comment is the last paragraph. I would say, now that it's been voted on and ratified, making it clear the ownership with the plan, the implementation falls on administration, where it just say more information specifying who that will be coming from.
Well, in conjunction with the teachers.
Yes.
I thought we discussed. We can work something like that in as we
I
finalize
think I'm
with
just
them.
unsure where that information will be coming from.
It's definitely not us.
Yes.
We can work on that as we finalize and negotiate the statement. All right, so would anyone like to make the motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the current draft, subject to some edits based on HFT feedback.
Second.
Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. Any opposed? Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Moved by Dawn.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, thank you. Does the central office team have some updates for us?
I just was going to mention that I will be acting principal for the day at the high school on Monday, and I have a student roundtable on Tuesday, so I'll be sending out something to the students tomorrow to let them know that I will be there. Well, I'll be there Monday, but also to meet with them for a roundtable on Tuesday.
Okay, Dr. Menard?
If you haven't had a chance to check out the newsletter, please do so for teaching and learning. We have over 2,700 hits, and we'd like to get to our normal over 3,000, so check it out.
Excited, next week on the 17th is the Rams Unified Basketball game versus Police and Fire for the town of Holliston. So if you're available, this should be a real barn burner. So be there for that. This is kind of after, last week was the staff and student basketball game as well. The staff narrowly defeated defeated the students by a couple points.
And not to put you on the spot, but since I didn't get it on the agenda and figure out, would you mind updating the committee on sort of your suggested changes to the capital request?
Yeah,
for the high school supplies.
Correct. Yeah. So David and I, now that we are not moving the needle on schedule for next year, and originally on the spring capital request was a $48,300 capital request dependent on or needed for year-long schedule for next year. David was able to look closely in the process of building out the $48,300. We were also able to inventory existing supplies that were out of commission as a result of them being broken. So these are things that we already actively own for the most part, that we would benefit for them to be in circulation for next year regardless, but would be something that's for us to kind of repair and build the safety around the equipment that we currently own, and then see what we need to add in FY27. But these would be the things that would benefit us next year, but would be essential and necessary in FY27. And that number is 23,300, some of 23,000 and change is the difference on that. Predominantly, that is some of our safety equipment that we have in our building. We have some out of commission microscopes that's similar to in a couple years ago at the middle school. An investment was done to kind of repair microscopes that were out of commission to get them back into circulation. This is similarly microscopes, again, that we own that need to be repaired and updated so that we can get them back into use there, along with just some of the basic safety equipment that when you're tight on the budget and aren't looking to actively build capital in that area, typically just kind of put to the side and you're getting by with the things you need in the current schedule we have, but these are things that we own and they should be in working order.
So a lot of things are sort of moving quickly now with the budget. The town side is the capital subcommittee of the finance committee's meeting. We've not yet been invited to present in front of the select board of our capital requests, but I would imagine at some point that will be coming. So I'd like to vote on this at our next meeting. Dr. Jordan, if you could share it out with the committee, and if the committee has questions or sort of concerns, I could reach out to Dr. Jordan over the next week with those. I'd prefer not to schedule a full budget subcommittee meeting for just this.
Right, not for just this. We'll have one probably at some point before May 1st or May 15th.
As we get closer, we have a better idea of what the budget picture of the town looks like. Yeah. Does anyone have objections to that?
No.
So just want to clarify, so this is 23,300, whatever, in change over what we had estimated? I'm sorry.
No, it's instead of, so for.
It's actually half of what we were
It's half of what we did. We
Okay.
had 48,300 for
Right.
ELA, world language, wellness, and science materials because of the ABC
Right.
schedule.
Yes, I
right?
understood that.
And so now that we're not
Doing
that for
that,
next year.
but we still have other
But in
outstanding
doing,
issues.
in doing
That
this
inventory,
assessment
got
and
it.
inventory, I think they identified some needs within the science department that hadn't been met and that we would have to replace
Right,
anyway. And so
right.
that's part of the,
That's why those
Is there,
reports.
I was just going to say, is there a reason why we shouldn't, like, I'm wondering if doing that inventory where there are other issues or other supplies that we do need, so reducing that, does that make sense? Like if there's,
well, this is the number we would have needed if we were doubling supplies.
Right.
If we were going AB. And going to the 72.
well, I'm just saying,
so
like, as we're
next year-
looking to the following year.
Right. But I don't think we have a good case to buy it ahead, like a year ahead, right?
I wasn't really looking at it buying ahead, but okay.
So next May, before we implement the new schedule in 2026,
Yeah,
there'll be work done on whether or
Sure.
not a request will be for that.
right.
I think ordinarily we would have just pulled this, but Dr. Jordan mentioned that
Right.
during that process, they had
They've
discovered something.
already
that-
identified
Yeah.
issues that
So
we would have need to address regardless.
Correct.
No, I get that. I'm just wondering if that, is this a complete deep dive, or is there anything that we're missing under the floorboards, so to speak?
The capital picture of the town is also quite tight, so I think that like we
Okay.
had not received a commitment to even the 48,000, so I think that
Okay, okay.
reducing it will,
Right.
Be a better-
And
Yeah.
presenting to Finance Committee on Tuesday?
what,
What was?
we talked about it
Tuesday?
Wednesday.
And talking about capital too,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, as you know, the rest of, some of these other items are the Wi-Fi upgrade, for example.
Yeah.
If we don't do this now, then we could lose the rebate that the town
Right,
gets
right,
back
right,
on that. So
right.
it's in terms
Yep.
of the priority. Yeah.
Prioritizing, yeah, okay.
Okay, so reach out to Dr. Jordan if you have any questions about those numbers, and we'll vote on it officially, but we may have to communicate it before that, so as a placeholder in any event. Okay. Do we have any reports from our subcommittees? Communications? Policy?
No, I'm in a meeting next, we'll have to schedule a meeting for next week or the following after the break. But I can talk about eval, if that's of interest. So we met this week with Dr. Pesca. She is going to submit her evidence to, complete her evidence by the 18th. We're supposed to get back to her by tomorrow if there's anything that we're looking for, which is April 18th. And then we need comments from the committee, rubric, whatever, filled out by May 2nd back to the subcommittee so that we can meet and to be able to vote on this on our meeting that's scheduled for the 15th of May. That's pretty much it.
That's enough time?
Gonna have to make it work.
Do you have any meetings between the 2nd and the 15th then?
We'll schedule one. We haven't scheduled.
Okay.
Okay. Budget?
And like I mentioned before, presented to Finance Committee on Tuesday for the capital and the operating budget. And as we said, we would expect to go in front of the select board soon. We will schedule another budget meeting in early May.
Okay, anyone have any jokes?
No, but what about any requests for items that you want to get added onto the agenda in the coming weeks? I was thinking back to the change in start times for the high school, and also we were at one point talking about an assessment of the high school parking lot, and it's not on the agenda for tonight, but maybe for one of our meetings, whether April 17th or May 1st, if we could talk a little bit about that. We're going to try and assess some efficiencies of getting cars and staff out of the parking lot as we change the times, but just something to put on the radar for the agenda that we could talk
I think
about.
it's a great, we haven't talked about start times in a little bit. What have you learned?
We're not talking about start times, we're talking about the
Well, we're not, start times are set, but the implications, the process, like we talked a
Yes.
lot about traffic flows early on. Have we learned anything new? Are there learning updates there, especially as we get closer to the beginning of the year. There's going to be shock and awe, and I think we need to just be prepared for that.
I think, you know, not talking about
a new thing,
which was a conversation in some of the budget stuff at the capital meetings, is one of the projects that was on the capital improvement plan were some repairs to sidewalks and parking lots at the elementary school. Part of a hold on that for this year is the flag project as far as the revitalization and reuse of that space, along with how we're going to plan to use traffic flow through that Linden entrance into the campus. So I'd like to be able to monitor at least that first part of the year to see what kind of project we're really looking at, because we may need to, right now it's a single lane road that we would do one way, whether we need to expand it to two, whether we need to add parking in that. So that prompted the delay, and being able to kind of monitor that, what that looks like. For example, link to the start times would be something that we would need to consider potentially for future capital projects.
And what's the communication plan? I'm assuming we either started or will be to parents for those schools impacted by the different traffic flow and what's expected of them.
Yeah, I mean, we start in spring here in the next month, start to communicate what busing and that transportation piece will look like. Kim Sexton, who is works in the business office with me, who also oversees transportation. We're kind of in tandem looking at school choice right now. We're looking at transportation. We're looking at our traffic patterns, and have drafted some communication. The first thing that we were aiming, which we brought to the policy subcommittee and then to here, was just kind of updating the policy based off of our bus pickup. So now we were able to kind of set our maps and our plans based around the new school committee policy.
Yeah, and in a future meeting, not tonight, but if there's plans, assuming the first week or so, we're going to need extra staff out there just pointing people in the right direction.
Well, you're welcome to deputize all of you to be out there for
that would come.
First week of school.
Well, I will say,
Joe, Ian?
don't kill me, but I did drive that road yesterday. It's pretty rough.
It's got some natural speed bumps.
He's got
good.
some natural axle killers. Yeah. Maybe you could reach out to Mr. Easton and Mr. Walker and see if there's we can do to. In one of the parting conversations of Mr. Ahern and Mr. Walker, part of our conversation is just kind of having some of the leftover fill to be able to kind of pave our big holes there before the start of the school year. So I do have quotes that I'm trying to see what we can kind of get to nearly free on to have that. Okay, so it's on your radar screen.
Yeah.
Okay. When do we normally do school choice, and should we add it to either the 17th or the 2nd?
So I wanted to go over some of the things coming up. School choice, I think we've done later. I already checked from last year.
Yeah, it's usually-
I put it down for May 15th. I'm going to check with you on that just because we're still doing kindergarten enrollment.
Okay.
So we usually will know early May, and then May 15th makes sense for that.
Okay.
Right now on the existing schedule that we had, on April 17th was supposed to be a special education year-end update, but then I know you asked her to come in earlier in the year to do a smaller presentation, so I'm not sure if you still want that for April 17th, or you'd rather it later, or if it's necessary right now.
Jess?
Yes.
I think maybe pushing that later in the year, just so sort of we can get the most up-to-date numbers as we sort of exit the year.
I thought so too, so I can move that. And then I think I'm going to be doing with Dan a data presentation, at least a smaller one, and and we could probably do one in August or September as well for next week. But we just started that today. On the May 1st, we are supposed to have Rams peer leaders coming in. We probably need to let them know that. And teaching and learning updates with our curriculum team, and dyslexia action plan with Jess and the Dyslexia Institute attendees. I think it's Jamie Slaney and Lisa
Ilsa O'Brien
Robinson, Ilsa,
and Jenny Mann.
So that could be a time maybe that she can do a slight update, do it the same night if you'd like, May 1st.
As an update, just on school choice, that the school choice applications, we close that next week. Then we look at then I'll work with schools to identify the number of seats. I'll look at enrollment in each of the grade levels and then speak with principals as far as the number of seats that we're looking at, and then we bring that to school committee to vote on the number of seats. And it's just a reminder process that this is meant to cap off an individual class. If a class is like 20 kids, you could cap it off with 3 more kids, and that would be if you were to take the entire, build your averages, you can do that, and you can create kind of cap off a class. It's not meant, you can't add like 30 kids to a grade level. It's usually just a couple kids per grade to kind of cap off a class.
May 15th, we have Safe and Supportive Schools and Equity Steering Update, but I don't think they've really been meeting this year, just to challenge those schedules, but I'll let Jerry, I'll speak to that. And the school choice numbers, and then May 29th is the district overall end-of-year goals with the principals, just because we just presented in February, so we really couldn't do that any sooner, even though there's probably data that is important, but we really do need that time to finish that up.
And with kindergarten registration closing about 8 days ago, do we have an idea of what our numbers are?
So we do, and right now, but the problem is, I think there were 22 or 42 that didn't from the census.
36 from the census that didn't register of the 141 that we had. That's actually as expected. So what Dr. Slaney is doing, we'll send mailers out to those 36 families. I would anticipate probably half of those we would get back, but those who are not applying to either Montessori or French immersion are typically those will wait till the last second or show up. So, we should anticipate several more kindergartners from the numbers that we have. But based off of that census, if we have 36 families from the census, we're looking probably half of those will actually register.
I think she actually did already reach out to them, but basically just said, please let us know if you're planning on registering. And the ones that responded just said, well, we didn't think we needed to register yet because we just want traditional.
Right.
And we do have openings within French immersion, so I said to Jamie, you may want to go back out and say if you're, because what I'd rather do is put the spots in there, rather than having to add another teacher to kindergarten. When we do have openings, it would make more sense to offer that as an opportunity if they're not aware of it. So
And those can be filled through school choice too, though.
they do,
well,
they
yeah.
can, but we wouldn't want to open those until we know our numbers
Right.
for kindergarten. That's what's tricky about it.
Yeah.
Reach out to those kindergarten families that already registered, letting them know as well.
She has done that, but I mean, I certainly can ask her to do it again.
Because there's only 36 that didn't register, so there's obviously a lot more that did, and maybe
Right,
they weren't even aware
and
of it.
many, I don't know the exact number, but there was a very large turnout for the kindergarten registration night when they do a whole presentation on all the options before they actually have to pick their choices for that.
And our school choice advertisement did include French immersion Montessori as an option for those families. I need to work with Kim to see what was labeled on that as far as the interest, but our Montessori, our French immersion classes, the openings in there, those can be used with school choice slots if we need to.
So how many kids have we already enrolled?
Give me a second, I'll try to pull that up. I'll have to find it if you want to move on, and I'll come back.
What we're going to do,
Oh, okay.
Just for you guys to know, because you haven't been part of it before, when they do school choice for the high school, so it's just for all of the high school. We don't do 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, so it's just for the high school, because we have more availability to move students around between classes and that. So. That's bigger jumps in 9th grade.
Did you find the current one?
Yes.
Can you find the current sheet I'm looking for? I wonder if I should be able to find it. I just didn't have it queued up. Do you know what date she sent that to us? Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to have to see if she can resend it, because
update on that for our next meeting. So with that, we are past 7 o'clock, so we will go towards our budget hearing for the fiscal 26 budget. Thank you. I will entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Moved by Don?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, we're now in our public hearing. Does anyone have any questions or comments about the budget?
Barbara?
Did you see?
Any questions about the budget?
A meeting just from the perspective of what we try to do.
You don't have a time limit on
This
this
is the one
part.
time.
You can just come and chat now.
Well,
No, I'm Barbara Ryan, 14 Place. No, trying to wrap my head around what we do, I think I'm speaking from a PTO perspective, that that's acceptable to the committee. When we were looking at, how we all fish from the same pond. We have a lot of really generous people in our community. We have a lot of organizations that ask parents and caregivers and family members to donate here, there, and for things. So we tiered our budget priorities as a PTO, like things we don't want to give up, about a third of like, if we can raise the money, it'd be nice to do. And then the other third was, we should have no business doing like annual programmatics. Like Challenge Day is one of those things that's becoming incorporated into the high school and junior high, right? So there's things like that. So we as an organization thought about that. I did participate, and I know you were open to us coming back, but then that kind of went to the wayside, and we were able to, again, raise a significant amount of money. So we're looking good in a 12 to 36 month runway from a PTO perspective to be able to support $75,000 to $85,000 worth of donations, whether it's a teacher asking for 100, something that's reasonable, and you all approve that. So we're confident there. I'm still learning about the budget process, I guess, as a Holliston community member. Certainly, I think we're entering uncertain times, and so like last week, I know the dismantling of the Department of Education, which has trickle-down effects with budgetary concerns. Thinking about that going into this budget, this budget cycle is going to town meeting, but the out years, again, hoping that we look at the most vulnerable communities, which will likely be impacted first with funding cuts, and then you start to take from the rest of the community, which creates a new vulnerability. So I guess that's more public comment of trying to understand, just the budget, looking at enrollment, all those projections that if you've done any kind of budgeting before, right? So I think this committee is fortunate to have people who've sat on finance committee who do budgets at their own jobs, who manage their own home budget. But I think we all have to look into the future and really look and see how and where programmatics have to sustain, and then what do you take from to pay for something. I just think it's complex and complicated going forward the next probably 2 to 5 years, and always going to be. Money doesn't grow on trees, so it's a young person's job to figure it out, and it's a projection, and you hope you hit it. And so I know in our little piece of the puzzle, we've again had a very, very generous contributions from this community in acts of kindness, in volunteerism, and in coin. So I hope that's helpful. To our staff and administration, and our students benefit from that directly, that generosity. So those are more public comments. When I had to run budgets, I usually was down the end, like, tell me what I get to spend, or I'd ask, I relied on really, really good people to balance books, but you have to make hard calls, and that's where it gets tough, because the majority hopefully does okay, but someone you want to lessen that impact for. So that's all. Thank you. So I'm glad we're able to contribute to the next couple of school years healthily. So thank you.
The contributions of the PTO is greatly appreciated from everyone. So Okay. Anyone have anything else?
Is there anybody on
Is
Zoom?
there anyone, we do have someone. Is there anyone on Zoom wish to have any questions, comments, anything about the budget? Okay. Seeing none. Anything from anyone else? All right.
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment.
Oh, okay.
It's a positive one. What I wanted to say was that I feel like we're very fortunate to live here in Massachusetts as we weather this storm. I mean, cherishing and valuing education in this state is part of our Constitution. Cherishing public education, the foundation of public education is from Massachusetts. So I want to lean very heavily on our representatives in our state that they will support us as we go through all of this. I feel like in other states we are not so fortunate. They rely only on federal funding to fund their schools, and we don't. We have local and state funding that also back us up. So even concerns over like universal school meals, I feel like we're going to figure it out because we value public education in the state, and we're not going to go backwards on that. So anyway.
No, I totally agree, but I think even taking it a step further, we live in a great state that's very supportive of education, but our town is also incredibly supportive of
Yes,
education.
absolutely.
If you look across the Commonwealth and in many different towns and cities, they are having budget issues
Right.
still.
Yep.
And they're having to lay off staff and cut programs and things like that. We were very fortunate to receive the support of the voters through the override, and we've also been able to sort of meet our commitments without impacting students and without impacting, jobs. So, so echo what you say, and add on that through the prudent fiscal management from our administration and from our town, we are also in an exceptionally good position, even within an exceptionally good, well-positioned state.
Have we received any updates from our state elected officials in response to the joint letter that was sent with those select board?
No.
Nothing yet.
And when we did attend, Dan and I attended the select board meeting, and President Spokane was there. You specifically asked her too about any state plans to cover for if there were federal funding losses.
Correct, and basically they are very worried about Medicaid and Medicare, and essentially as far as like
Schools would not
grants,
be the priority.
we basically were told we were likely going to be on our own.
I did we just received yesterday from Mass Superintendents and MASC that Title VI, districts have been asked to certify that they are not doing work with DEI. So we were told to pause, and the Secretary of Education, Patrick Tutwiler, who's the acting commissioner, did send a letter certifying that Massachusetts has already certified their Title VI. However, tune in later, we still don't know what the results of that will be or what further action may be asked for.
My understanding was, it was just at the state level.
Yes, just at the state level.
Right, and they indicated that districts are not required to take any action at this
Correct.
time, just
Yep.
so people out there are not.
So
aware.
hopefully that means status quo for any related grants or anything related to that.
So I think it is time we will, unless there's anything else, we will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Are we going to vote on our budget?
We've already voted on it. We're not changing it right now.
No, if we're going to change anything.
So
Okay.
moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay. The public hearing is now closed. We have also run out of items on our agenda. So
See you next week.
see you next week. We do not have a need for executive session, so I will simply entertain a motion to adjourn.
The lights are still.
Moved by Cynthia.
Second.
All in favor?
I didn't hear a second.
I second.
I
Oh,
second.
second. All right, all in favor? All right, we stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
Seconded it.